Thank you for joining me today. I'm here with Brandy Johnston, who is an Emory and Henry alumni and now works in Hollywood as a producer. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about your experience here at Emory. You graduated in 1994. So what did you do here at Emory, and what was your major and everything about Emory?
Mass communications was my major, broadcasting, and my minor was in literature, but I did take a great interest in photography while I was here.
Okay, and then you focused on broadcasting here. Did you do any work here with the student media or anything?
Absolutely, absolutely. We did a lot of packages while we were here. We definitely didn't have this great setup that you guys have now, which is wonderful. But we also worked at the radio station. So that was running at that time, so we did a lot of work there.
Definitely, in the radio station and the TV studio have obviously taken off a lot since 1994.
Wonderful. It's so great to see.
Yeah, are you a little jealous you didn't get to get involved in everything?
Absolutely, because you can learn so much from just the hands-on experience.
Definitely. Okay, and after you graduated, you actually got involved in the Olympic Games of '96. Now, tell me a little bit about that job and what you had to do.
Correct. Yes, so I started as an intern actually there, and then they offered me a job as a project manager. I worked on the poster program project. We created 64 posters, original posters for the Olympics, and they were produced and sold during the Olympics. I got to work with a lot of well-known artists, Hiro Yamagata, Aldo Luongo, Michel Delacroix, very famous artists. And then I moved over when that was finished to work with the torch relay, and I worked with uniforms and banners and all the torch bearers for the sponsors. So I got to help out and actually got to run with the torch, so it was pretty exciting.
That's a pretty awesome job, and it's great to get it right out of school.
I was very, very lucky.
But you actually had your kind of epiphany was when you went to Boston for an internship while you were still a student here.
Correct.
So tell me a little bit about that, because you weren't even from Boston, and it was a completely new place. So tell me a little bit about that internship.
Definitely. The professors here, they're amazing. They helped to get that internship for me. And I drove up, found a place to live, and worked there for about 3 months. Through the summer, and it was amazing. WFXT Fox 25, a television station there. I did a lot of PR stuff, wrote a lot of press releases, and helped out with some of their live shows that they did. So it was a great experience.
Definitely. And that definitely got your foot in the door for everything else you got to do. Okay,
Yes.
so once you were done with the Olympic Games of '96, what did you end up doing after that?
I did another internship after that, and for a company called IXL, which was on the cusp of the internet boom, and they had a production arm, and I started out in the video library, and we sold footage to people around the world, and then moved up to associate producer, and then finally senior producer and writer. I worked there for about 5 years, and eventually it spun off into its own company, DVS, and then after that was finished, I moved to Los Angeles.
Okay, so what are some of the projects that you got to be able to be involved in there?
I did a documentary, associate producer in a documentary for the American Cancer Society. That was the most exciting project that I worked on. We shot that all on film. We had Steadicam, we had the whole 9 yards. It was amazing. It's actually still used today. They use it for promotional purposes. One of my largest clients there was the Simmons Company, and I did all of their corporate videos for them. We did some commercials there as well.
Okay, so after that, you actually did another kind of quick move. You just moved out to LA without a job, without anything. You and your husband just picked up and left in 2002. So, what did you do when you first got out to LA?
Well, it was very stressful trying to find a job there. My husband was very lucky. He found one first, so I was able to kind of breathe a little bit and try to find a job. I applied to literally thousands of jobs and sent out my resumes. I tried everything. Finally, a producer interviewed me for a film that he was working on, a low-budget film called, at the time, Unseen Evil 2. It was a sequel to something he had done previously. And it's now called Alien 3000. We produced that. We shot it on film, 16 millimeter. It was starring Lorenzo Lamas and Priscilla Barnes and Corbin Timbrook. And that went really well. It was very exciting. That was kind of the first one that I did with him.
Okay, so that was with Sterling Entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you did all low-budget horror films, right?
Right. I did 6 for him, and then after that, I did one freelance for another company, which actually hasn't made it to DVD. All the other ones made it to DVD.
We actually have a photo from this Unseen Evil 2. This is you and the monster.
Yes, the monster. They created the suit. It was pretty elaborate for low budget. It was pretty exciting.
Well, this looks funny because that's a pretty scary monster.
Yes.
For a low budget film, that looks pretty awesome.
Yeah. The movie turned out pretty well. It did. It turned out pretty well.
And that was actually, you said was that
it's
one
on pay-per-view now. Mm-hmm. All of them, except for the last one, they're on DVD now, so you can actually rent them.
Well, that's great. Okay, so what did you do when you were done at Sterling?
I took a job for Buster Design. It's a motion graphics company, and I was a senior producer there.
Okay, and then you actually just recently had a baby, so you're taking some time off from the actual work and doing work at home. So what are you getting involved in now?
Yes, so I'm trying to spend as much time with her as I can while she's, still at home and not in school. And I'm doing a lot of bidding out for Buster right now and just taking care of their accounting and things like that for a little while. Okay,
but Buster Design is actually involved in a lot of things.
Yes.
You said you actually brought Mrs. Butterworth to life for the first time in how many years?
In 12 years.
So that is awesome because, we've all probably seen those commercials where Mrs. Butterworth talks. Yes. And I love Mrs. Butterworth.
Yes. Everyone loves Mrs. Butterworth.
Everyone loves Mrs. Butterworth.
They came to us because of our great reputation, and we brought her to life. We actually hired one of the animators who worked on Lord of the Rings, and he brought her to life, and I produced that.
Awesome. And you also worked with Bravo.
We could do a lot of work with Bravo.
You said you worked on Tim Gunn's Guide to Style, in promos and intros and all that stuff.
We created the opening title sequence for Tim Gunn's Guide to Style.
I love that show.
Yeah.
And then you said you also worked with a lot of Bravo things like Millionaire Matchmaker.
We did that. We did Flipping Out. We've done work with the Discovery Channel. We do a lot of launches for channels. We also do a lot of graphics redesign we just redesigned the Game Show Network.
You said you were very involved in the Game Show Network.
Senior producer for that,
Okay, so what all are the little things that you had to do with that?
Well, we created the logo, their new logo, for their network and for all their web use, and then we created all their packaging. We came up with the color palettes, we came up with how everything would move, and created all their graphics.
Well, that is so amazing. It's great to hear from Emory alumni who are doing such amazing things. Thank you so much for coming on today and coming all the way out here.
Thank you.